So this mainstream news that we have, they like those explosive stuff. So you see,
Become a
like,
Fox News.
you see, like the good
Very
stuff that's
partisan.
being discussed in Parliament, and you are never gonna hear about it. So if you go to the YouTube page, they usually stream everything that that Parliament plays. That's how I was able to catch those American MPs we gave, those American congressmen that we gave red cards. That's how I was able to catch them, because I usually sometimes sit and just listen to those debates. So there's some good things that come out. There's actually some good bills that are in there. There's some good things, but the problem is that what the news will focus on is on Mambo ya Gachagua. Impeachment.
With other, not only Gachagua only, but also other things.
Other explosive things.
Yes.
Like if morning shows in Kenya used to be gossip. There used to be gossip, kina Kingangi, kina Churchill. It used to be, there always had to be a comedian. And in fact, most Kenyan morning shows were like that. Now, Spice dared to think different.
When I was home, there's this part I was...
Oh, by the way, hebu tupatie vitu kwa ground.
Yeah. I chose not to participate or to listen in or whatever, because it was too much. I've never been in an environment where everything is from the government, and everything from the government is negative, right? There's Gachagua, there's Kindiki, is it Shisha, whatever, that one.
It's Taifa Care, please.
They've changed it. See,
there's
that, right?
It was Shah, Chief, King.
So they rebranded it.
Okay.
Yes.
It was so much, all at the same time.
Yeah.
They don't even know what to focus on, right? Just when you think this is crazy, something crazier comes up.
Yep.
Or something that actually you care about comes up.
Yeah.
Then, like, what do I actually focus on?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not listening. I want to listen to something. But there, I went to the Senate. I sat on the Senate to listen in. That day, they're talking about the people who are being disappeared.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really nice, right? But that is the only time I was like, okay, maybe let me see what they talk about in the Senate, like, and participated in that. But like, the news became so much negative that I couldn't focus on what do I choose to pay attention to today
I think
that can either move the needle on, get to learn more about.
I think part of the problem is that in Kenya, we don't have PBS, we don't have NPR. So this mainstream news that we have, they like those explosive stuff. So you see,
Become a
like,
Fox News.
you see, like the good
Very
stuff that's
partisan.
being discussed in Parliament, and you are never gonna hear about it. So if you go to the YouTube page, they usually stream everything that that Parliament plays. That's how I was able to catch those American MPs we gave, those American congressmen that we gave red cards. That's how I was able to catch them, because I usually sometimes sit and just listen to those debates. So there's some good things that come out. There's actually some good bills that are in there. There's some good things, but the problem is that what the news will focus on is on Mambo ya Gachagua. Impeachment.
With other, not only Gachagua only, but also other things.
Other explosive things.
Yes.
Like if someone says something silly, like it's gonna be added there.
Yeah.
So now we don't have proper coverage of other things that are happening that we don't know about. Which if you sit and watch those 4-hour sessions or 3-hour sessions,
But I don't have the time for that.
now, and that's why I agree with you.
Yeah.
People don't have the time for that. So if we could get like a PBS, because like PBS and NPR, they don't focus on the drama and the flair.
True.
They focus on the substance and the juice and the sauce. So if we could get that may be. You see, like the way sometimes even Spice is a little bit, I would say, is a little bit. They sometimes focus on things that we are supposed to be talking about. That's an exception. Spice FM is an exception to the rule.
It is.
I don't know whether you watch Spice FM.
I know I do watch Spice, but
that's
they're
an
too
exception
long.
to the rule.
They're too long.
No, but they have shorter videos.
They have shorter videos,
They have,
but-
ama unataka TikTok highlight.
I
Anataka
30
reels.
seconds.
I want, like,
Reels.
there's this Nini I listen on NPR, Up Fast. gives me a summary,
good.
what's happened. And
But
that's it.
But I
Even New
think
York
with
City
That's what I
Kenya,
want.
Yeah.
That's
So,
but I
so
think with
on.
Kenya, you need
Skiza,
context.
if you listen to the first 10 minutes
Wewe
of
basi unanini
Spice,
tuko.co.ke.
up first. Yeah.
I did what?
Tuko.co.ke.
No, I do not need Tuko.
Yeah.
Hell no.
No, but you see, the thing is, the issue
But
is
tuko ndo nakwanga na hizo nini.
Yeah.
Tuko
No.
husema kila kitu.
Before
Because, you know,
James-
tuko apparently it was aired out that tuko is a government thing.
before Jemo comes in, I was gonna say what Spice does, in as much as they're not trying to prolong, but they want to give you substance. But you also have to explain, because without giving background, because that's another thing. When you don't give background sometimes to stories, you miss the big picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like now, for example, you guys had the
Kwanza
story.
Kenya where people like quoting.
Yeah,
Hey.
but you see, like now the story of the gentleman who had been arrested, who had been accused of
Yeah.
molesting his daughter.
Yeah.
Served 17 years. Daughter comes out and says, "I was forced to," but you're like, "How are you forced to?" Because you're like, "No, this daughter has to go to jail." But no, when you find out that it was the Jama's brother in collusion with whatever. They are, for some reason you cannot just say and then you just move on. And I think that sometimes has happened, because even when you look at sometimes the blogs, they say that a certain MP has done this or whatever, then they keep on moving. So we are left wondering, who the hell is this guy they're talking about? So we are left guessing.
Sometimes they may not even mention the name. A
No.
member of parliament
Yeah,
from
they do that.
Nyeri County.
From here, yeah.
What the heck?
And I think and that is why, like, I love it, because these guys are so objective, because if they find a matter that is pertinent, I mean, they will do everything. They'll do about cancer screening. They'll do about whatever.
So I think, but Spice is commentary, right? So I think it does.
They do have news. The first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that up first.
Is it just on its own, or it is part of the show?
No, it's the first 10 minutes of the show. I think they usually separate it. If you go look at the videos they break up, you will find it. And actually, Spice, it's only divided into, in every hour, there's only 43 to 45 minutes of content.
Yeah.
So when you go to their YouTube page, you'll find that those 43 minutes. So you don't have to listen to the full 3 hours.
Yeah, they've got clips, so they'll
So
yeah, when they're interviewing
morning,
Mtata, it's the 43 minutes. So they will talk the first hour.
Muluka.
They will even cover what's in the, like
the
what's
news.
in the news.
They'll discuss it, they find it
and that's
visible.
also separately.
Okay, let me give you my rundown of a morning. I listen up first, the daily, and at some point I listen to the journal. What dropped the previous day. On my drive home, I listen to Marketplace, and I'm done with the news at that point, for the most part.
Yeah.
The rest, I'll scrolling. I'll get to know what happened, right? But I have the gist of what happened in the country and internationally. Not, of course, I need to go find more details, but like with those 4 news whatever, I'm able to get the grasp of what's happening. Do we have that in Kenya? Because like between Up First, the daily, and the journal, that is enough for getting ready in the morning and driving. And I think that is what we need, because
that's what we need. Yeah.
Kenya can bombard you with so many things that you don't even know what to focus on.
Yeah.
And that is why I think, for me,
Unajua, wacha
Spice
niulize
FM
swali.
Becomes
Unajua-
the career.
unajua-
Spice FM
Hold
or
up.
Citizen
Hold up.
becomes those guys that I will go to. Well, not all Citizen, but like when I see some, like the certain people that I see that, like, let me listen to these guys. Mika, go ahead.
What I was saying is that, you guys are so used to listening to news that's here, you've been accustomed to it, so you want other people's news reporting to be the way you guys. It's just the way that Uno has said. In Kenya, if things were compressed like that and they were pulled out, and the way our politics is, then that news will be used for politicking and itageuzwa story, right?
Kabisa.
You remember he hapa kwa show when Sifuna was trying to turn around things, right? And I was like, no, it's been said like this, because the thing is, if you just report a headline, they'll easily deflect that and say this is not how it happened. So it's a matter of the market how their reporting needs to be done, how it's supposed to be done, how they expect it to be done. It would be nice to have it compressed, the way it's been compressed here in here, but then will it serve the purpose to the Kenyan market when it's compressed?
Now, to add to what Mika said, the reason why they're not doing that in Kenya is because most media houses, 99% of them are for profit, and that becomes problematic. Which is why I say we need a not-for-profit media. It is very important. You talked about telling our stories.
Yeah.
How is it being funded in other countries? It's being funded.
But the government.
When you look at it's not only the government.
Yeah.
When you look at, like, for example, the people, their foundations. There are so many groups that are funding not-for-profit media. The government maybe might find, like Voice of America. It may provide some funding for some of the stations. In Brito, BBC is funded by the government, but there's a clear firewall between the editorial team at BBC and the government. So they've been doing that for so many years. So that's because the excuse sometimes is that there's no appetite for this. But the reason why there's no appetite is because that food is not being served.
Yeah.
Once you serve the food and you create the appetite, remember, morning shows in Kenya used to be gossip. There used to be gossip, kina Kingangi, kina Chachi. It used to be, there always had to be a comedian. And in fact, most Kenyan morning shows were like that. Now, Spice dared to think different. They dared to think different. There was like, because people are like, pana, easy serious stuff, hakuna mtu atasikiza.
And by the
way, it's the most listened to.
Spice.
It's the most listened to morning show in Kenya.
The Spice, I think those guys tried to sell that. They tried to sell it to 105. They tried to sell it. Nobody bought it. Most of those major whatevers never bought it.
Yeah. But now it is the most, because they took time, they created it, and they realized that there's a demand for this. So I think if we start creating, the quality news, there's quantity news whereby taarifa ya habari, like 1 hour, like where everything is thrown in there. But unaona kama ukisikiza, and maybe NPR, we can Kenyanize this in our own way. In NPR, like every hour, if you listen to the first 5-6 minutes, they will give you a quick summary of everything that's happening, and then the rest of the hour, if it's a program, if it's on point, or if it's another issue they want to discuss deeper, it will go. But within those 5 minutes, you have everything that you need, and you don't have to keep going
listening.
On a loop.
No, you don't need to.
Listening.
Ali unakumbuka kitambo alikosema na huu ni muhtasari wa habari unaleta kwako na ngulamu wa vio.
Yes, that was actually quality.
Yeah, you remember that, right?
Yes, I remember that.
And but then the muhtasari will come in. You remember the one news ya kulikuwa na news ilikuanga, kulikuwa na muhtasari ya saa 6 alafu news inakuja saa 7 ku explain more.
Yes, exactly. Wanakupatia vidokezo, highlights, ndio unajua kuna habari moto leo. So
and then you wait for the main show, for the main newscast later.
Yeah.
I think they should go back to that.
Citizen, do you know why I stopped watching it live? Squeezy, they've done a good thing. They now will give you the bulletin in a short. I stopped watching it live. Do you know, out of 1 hour, how many minutes of news you have? Have you ever tried to?
Maybe 15.
1 hour.
It's not many, because there are a lot of adverts.
Around 22 minutes is adverts.
Citizen.
Yes. Like ukitime, like utakuta, like sometimes even a 7-minute break. Adverts. Another thing I don't like what Citizen has started doing, a lot of the things that they are presenting as news are not. Utasikia, shabiki.com, huyu ameshinda milioni moja. Then they present it as a news article. I came to learn that shabiki.com is owned by the owner of Citizen.
Oh, Lord.
So now when they constantly keep showing on TV that people are winning, more people are going into that betting stuff.
There.
Yes. So that's what they do. Business news, everything is paid for. Almost everything in business news is paid for. Na hata hii hapa wamemweka Yvonne squeeze inaitwa Power Talk. That's a paid segment where they get like a CEO at sijui KCB has made profits kuja hapa. That's
you don't remember when there was a time, Ali, when people will go back home December wanatokea kwa TV. There was a time where diasporans used to go home and wanatokea kwa TV or kwa news or kwa TV. People are paying to shoot.
Yeah, I know.